Seniors, stop this morning habit now. You've done it 1,000 times, opened your eyes and jumped straight out of bed. But what if that automatic move is silently putting your life at risk? The most dangerous habits are often the ones we never question, especially those we do the moment we wake up. A single decision made within the first 60 seconds of your day could determine whether you age with strength, or lose your independence forever. Earlier this morning, unsettling news spread rapidly through an entire neighborhood. A 73-year-old woman, radiant, lively, and without any known medical conditions, collapsed suddenly just seconds after stepping out of bed. No prior warning, no unusual symptoms, no indication that anything was wrong. One moment, she was beginning a new day, and the next, she was unconscious on the floor. What was supposed to be a normal morning became a sobering wake-up call, a warning that could just as easily apply to you or someone you love. What's most alarming is this wasn't an isolated case. In fact, it's far more common than we realize. Across the globe, every single day, millions of seniors unknowingly engage in seemingly harmless morning habits, habits so deeply ingrained that they go unquestioned. But beneath that appearance of normalcy, these actions are slowly eroding their health. They weaken physical strength, disrupt circulation, accelerate the aging process, and dramatically raise the risk of falls, injuries, and even cardiac events. And it all happens in the first few minutes after waking up, moments that most people overlook, moments that determine whether a person will greet the day with vitality or become yet another victim of avoidable decline. That's why, in this video, I'm going to reveal the 5 most dangerous mistakes seniors make during their morning routine. And more importantly, I'll show you how to correct each one with small, practical changes that can lead to more energy, improved balance, greater independence, and clearer mental focus at any age. I urge you to stay with me until the very end, because mistake number 5 is the most destructive of them all. It's the one almost no one talks about, yet it's silently contributing to thousands of preventable health issues. Before we begin, do one thing for yourself: like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any future insights that could protect and transform your health. And in the comments, write this affirmation: today, I choose to protect my strength and health every single day. Say it with intention. This isn't just a sentence, it's your promise to yourself. A commitment to rise each day not just by habit, but with consciousness and care. Let's begin with mistake number 1, getting up too quickly. Picture this: you open your eyes, and without giving it a second thought, you swing your legs over the side of the bed and push yourself upright. It's what millions of people do every single morning. It's routine. It's automatic. But that simple rush to start the day can be incredibly dangerous, especially for anyone over the age of 60. What feels like efficiency is, in reality, a silent risk, one that far too many only recognize when it's already too late. You see, after hours of lying down, your body enters a deeply rested state. Blood flow slows, blood pressure drops, and your muscles are entirely relaxed. If you suddenly stand up, your circulatory system doesn't have time to adapt. This abrupt transition causes a sharp, dangerous drop in blood pressure, a condition called orthostatic hypotension. It happens fast. The brain doesn't receive enough blood, and that can result in dizziness, blurry vision, leg weakness, or even sudden fainting. And yes, it often happens within the first minute of waking. The danger lies in its subtlety. Most people won't notice the warning signs. Maybe you just feel slightly off, maybe your vision dims for a second, or your breath shortens. These symptoms are easy to brush aside, until the day you fall, hit your head, or break a bone. This sudden shift in position prevents your blood from reaching the brain quickly enough, which can result in an immediate feeling of lightheadedness, blurred vision, leg weakness, or in more serious cases, complete loss of consciousness. What's terrifying is that even older adults who appear perfectly healthy, no history of heart problems, no signs of frailty, can fall victim to this hidden danger simply because they rushed out of bed too quickly. The body, especially as it ages, demands more care and time to transition from rest to movement. The real threat here is that this kind of morning weakness rarely announces itself with fanfare. Often, it creeps in silently. Maybe it's a slight dimming in your vision, a tiny stumble you dismiss, or just a fleeting moment of breathlessness. These seem so minor that most people ignore them, until one day, they can't. One fall, one hospitalization, one moment of, "I wish I had known," and everything changes. Statistical data confirms this reality. Early morning falls are one of the leading causes of serious fractures and hospital admissions among the elderly. These are not isolated cases, they are predictable, preventable outcomes of behaviors we've normalized for decades. And the most heartbreaking part? So many of these incidents could have been avoided with just a few gentle, intentional actions in the very first minutes of the day. In the ancient wisdom of Buddhist monks, the act of waking up is not rushed. It is viewed as a sacred ritual, a moment of transition that deserves respect. They teach that the way you awaken not only sets the tone for your day but gradually shapes the course of your life. For monks, the body must be called back into consciousness gently, in stages. They move their fingers, breathe deeply, stretch lightly while still lying down. These aren't just habits, they're time-tested rituals to preserve balance, clarity, and strength well into old age. And now, modern science is catching up. Studies confirm that this mindful approach significantly reduces the risk of dizziness, falls, and cardiovascular complications. So what exactly should you do when you first open your eyes? The answer is simple, yet powerful: do not rush. Begin with 2 or 3 deep breaths. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. Slowly rotate your ankles and wrists to stimulate circulation. Then, roll to your side and carefully sit at the edge of your bed. Let your feet rest firmly on the floor. Stay there for 20 to 30 seconds. While you're there, move your shoulders gently, perhaps do a few light ankle rolls. Only after you feel stable, rise slowly and with awareness. This tiny ritual, lasting less than 2 minutes, can make the difference between a day that begins safely and one that leads to months of painful recovery. It's not about slowing down your life, it's about giving your body the respect and rhythm it deserves. Mistake number 2, not hydrating immediately upon waking. Your body may have been asleep, but it hasn't stopped working. Through the night, your heart continued beating, your lungs kept breathing, your cells carried out countless repair functions. And all of that internal effort consumes something essential: water. By the time you wake up, your body is already in a state of mild dehydration, even though you don't feel it. And yet, many seniors begin their day without drinking a single sip of water. This seemingly harmless oversight sets off a cascade of internal issues: thicker blood, slowed circulation, irregular blood pressure, and over time, it can quietly raise the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and fainting spells. The biggest problem is that as we age, our body's ability to feel thirst decreases. You may already be dehydrated but not feel thirsty at all. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. Many seniors reach first for medications, or coffee, or skip fluids altogether, unknowingly placing even more strain on their cardiovascular system at the very start of the day. When blood becomes thicker, the heart has to pump harder. And for an aging heart, that can be exhausting. It's a silent, vicious cycle, one that slowly drains vitality and weakens resilience. Let me share a real-life example. Mrs. Mary, a vibrant 76-year-old woman, always saw herself as healthy. She walked daily, managed her household with ease, and stayed socially active. But she began noticing subtle changes: headaches, fatigue, and that nagging morning dizziness. She chalked it up to aging, until one morning, she fainted in her kitchen. At the hospital, doctors discovered that the cause wasn't something complex, it was simply dehydration paired with mild hypertension. The solution? A small change: placing a glass of water next to her bed and drinking it first thing every morning. Within weeks, her symptoms faded. She regained her energy, her clarity, and her mornings returned to normal. Among Buddhist teachings, there's a saying: before the body acts, it must be honored with what sustains it. To them, water is not just a drink, it's the first nourishment of the day, the liquid energy that awakens every system and prepares the body for conscious movement. Modern research agrees. Hydrating right after waking enhances circulation, balances blood pressure, and improves cognitive function. It's a small act, but one with enormous impact. So before thinking about coffee, emails, or even brushing your teeth, drink water. Keep it within arm's reach. If plain water is hard for you, begin with small sips. Add lemon if you'd like to gently activate your digestion. And remember this: thirst is a delayed signal. By the time your body asks for water, you're already behind. Hydration is prevention. It's protection. And this simple, consistent act may be one of the most powerful things you can do for your long-term health. Mistake number 3: drinking coffee on an empty stomach. For many people, the day doesn't really begin until that first warm sip of coffee touches their lips. The aroma alone is enough to awaken the senses. Coffee feels like comfort, like focus, like routine. But there's a small but critical detail that most overlook: drinking coffee on an empty stomach, especially after the age of 60, is a health mistake with long-term consequences. Here's the truth: your body has been in a fasting state all night. Your blood sugar is low, your stomach lining is unprotected, and your digestive system is still waking up. When you introduce a highly acidic, stimulating substance like coffee into that vulnerable environment, you trigger a surge in gastric acid production. With no food to buffer it, this acid begins to irritate your stomach lining. The result? Over time, you may experience gastritis, acid reflux, bloating, or even ulcers, especially if you already have digestive sensitivities, which are incredibly common among seniors. Let me tell you about Mr. John, 75 years old. For over 4 decades, his morning routine was always the same. Wake up. Brew strong black coffee. Drink it immediately: no food, no water, just caffeine. He believed it gave him energy and clarity. But years later, he began suffering from intense stomach discomfort, chest burning, and digestive flare-ups. Doctors diagnosed him with severe acid reflux and early-stage ulcers. But over time, Mr. John's body began sending clear warning signs. He developed persistent stomach pains, burning sensations in his chest, bouts of intestinal irritation, and eventually was diagnosed with severe acid reflux. The discomfort disrupted his sleep, drained his energy, and affected his ability to enjoy his mornings. For years, he endured this cycle, believing it was just part of getting older, until a compassionate nutritionist explained the true impact of his habit. It was then that Mr. John made a small but powerful change. Instead of pouring coffee into an empty stomach, he started with a light, simple snack: a banana, a handful of almonds, a slice of whole grain toast. Within just a few weeks, the symptoms he had carried for years began to vanish. No more burning pain. No more bloating. His mornings became peaceful again. This change reflects a timeless principle shared in Buddhist traditions: before stimulating the body, first strengthen it. Even during intense spiritual practices, monks never skip this foundational wisdom. They eat small, gentle meals to ground and prepare their bodies before exposing their nervous system to any strong stimulation, whether from caffeine or otherwise. They understand that vital energy is sacred, and internal balance is fragile. It must be honored, not rushed or disrupted. This ancient practice doesn't just protect the stomach, it shields the heart, regulates emotional well-being, and builds a solid base for every part of your day. So what should you do before sipping that first cup of coffee? Start with something light and nourishing. A banana. A few nuts. Half a slice of whole grain bread. Or even a spoonful of plain yogurt. It doesn't need to be a full breakfast, just a buffer. A base. A small act of protection that reduces acid impact and stabilizes caffeine absorption, giving you more steady energy, a calmer digestive system, and even better sleep over time. It's a habit rooted in centuries of wisdom, and it can change how you feel every single day. Because ultimately, strengthening the body before making demands of it isn't just a wellness tip, it's a sign of respect. Respect for your health. For your future. And for the life you're still building. Mistake number 4, ignoring morning stiffness. Many people, especially as they grow older, wake up with that familiar tightness in the legs, stiffness in the back, or tension in the shoulders. It feels minor, just a little morning stiffness, and so they ignore it. They stretch quickly, take a few brisk steps to the bathroom, and carry on with their day as if nothing's wrong. But this is where the danger lies. Morning stiffness, especially common after the age of 60, is not a minor nuisance. It's your body whispering for care, a silent signal that it needs more time, more patience, and more attention in the first moments of your day. Ignoring it means forcing still resting muscles into action too soon, and that's when trouble begins. When you sleep, your body becomes incredibly still. Muscles relax. Circulation slows. And the synovial fluid, the natural lubricant for your joints, settles. Upon waking, everything is slow to react. If you move too quickly, without giving time for that fluid to redistribute and your muscles to activate, you're at risk for muscle strains, small tears, and dangerous imbalances that can lead to falls. These injuries often happen without pain at first, but the damage accumulates. Over time, what began as a moment of stiffness can turn into chronic discomfort or a mobility crisis. Let me tell you about Mrs. Margaret, a vibrant 79-year-old who prided herself on her independence. She loved starting her day early, folding laundry, watering plants, keeping her home organized. But she began to notice her legs feeling heavy when she got out of bed. Instead of slowing down, she pushed through, walking quickly to the bathroom each morning as she always had. Then one day, without warning, her knees locked up mid-step. She lost her balance, fell sideways, and hit her hip against the edge of the bed. Though she didn't break a bone, the psychological damage was real. For weeks, she couldn't get out of bed without help. She lost her confidence, and with it, her independence. All of this from ignoring what her body had been trying to say: slow down. Let me catch up. In the teachings of Buddhist monks, this principle is known as conscious awakening. It means recognizing that the mind and body exist in a delicate transition each morning, from rest to motion. Rushing this transition is seen as a form of disrespect, to the body, to its rhythms, and to the sacred nature of the new day. That's why monks devote the first several minutes of the day to gentle stretches, mindful breathing, and gradual movement. These small rituals have been shown to preserve joint flexibility, muscle responsiveness, and even emotional steadiness. So what should you do? Before your feet even hit the floor, give your body permission to wake up. While lying in bed, move your fingers and toes. Gently circle your ankles. Stretch your arms overhead. Rotate your wrists. Slowly raise your knees one at a time. Then, when you sit at the edge of your bed, gently tilt your neck side to side and roll your shoulders back. These motions reactivate circulation, lubricate joints, and prime your neuromuscular system for the day. All it takes is 2 to 3 minutes, yet the impact can last for years. More mobility. Fewer falls. Greater confidence. These small acts aren't just preventative, they're powerful. They're your body asking for a little patience, and promising strength in return. Mistake number 5, poor morning posture. And now we arrive at what may be the most dangerous mistake of all, the one nearly everyone overlooks because it hides in plain sight. It seems small, subtle, harmless. But over the years, it becomes a major contributor to falls, frailty, and reduced mobility. It's your posture. More specifically, the way you carry your body in the first few minutes after waking. Many seniors rise from bed hunched over, shoulders slumped, head lowered, spine curved forward. It happens unconsciously, like a shadow of fatigue that follows sleep. But this posture has consequences that go far deeper than appearances. This rounded posture compresses your rib cage, limiting your breathing capacity. Less oxygen means less energy, less clarity. It weakens the muscles that stabilize your frame and shifts your center of gravity, making you more likely to trip or fall. It also puts pressure on internal organs, disrupting digestion and contributing to problems like constipation, bloating, and abdominal discomfort. And it doesn't stop at the physical level. Numerous studies have shown that posture directly affects mood and cognition. A slouched body increases the likelihood of feeling anxious, sad, or unfocused. A strong, upright frame supports emotional resilience and mental clarity. Let me introduce you to Mrs. Helen, 81 years old, a lifelong reader, walker, and source of wisdom for her family. Over time, she unknowingly began rising each morning with a curved spine, eyes cast down, shoulders sagging. First, it was occasional dizziness. Then a minor trip in the hallway. And eventually, a serious fall that kept her in bed for months. Doctors treated the physical injuries. But no one had warned her that the real culprit was her posture. Her body had lost its ability to correct itself, all because it had gradually learned to move in weakness instead of strength. She had always loved her morning walks, quiet moments with books, and deep conversations with her family. But over time, almost imperceptibly, her body started changing. Mrs. Helen began rising from bed hunched over, shoulders drooping, eyes cast downward toward the floor. At first, it was subtle, occasional dizziness, a brief stumble here or there. But then came the inevitable. A fall inside her home left her unable to walk without assistance for months. The real tragedy? It wasn't caused by a chronic illness or a sudden event. It was her posture, the way she started every morning. Bent forward. Unbalanced. Her body had, day after day, slowly lost its center of gravity, its ability to respond to tiny missteps. What looked like a harmless movement was actually the beginning of a deeper decline. A silent warning that her stability, confidence, and freedom were slowly being chipped away. In Buddhist philosophy, posture is not just a matter of how we hold ourselves, it's seen as the physical expression of our vital energy. Rising in the morning with an upright spine, open chest, and forward-facing gaze is more than just a gesture of good form. It's a statement of life, purpose, and self-respect. This body awareness isn't about looking proper, it's about aging powerfully, consciously, and well. Proper posture first thing in the morning helps preserve muscle tone, protect bone density, optimize breathing, and sharpen mental clarity. It is quite literally one of the most important things you can do in the very first minutes of your day to guard your independence and overall health. So what should you do before standing up? While still seated at the edge of your bed, elongate your spine, as if someone were gently pulling the top of your head upward. Take a deep, calming breath. Pull your shoulders back and lift your chin so it's parallel to the floor. As you prepare to stand, keep your torso upright, your feet planted evenly on the ground, and direct your gaze at eye level, never toward the floor. Then, as you rise, do so with intention, feeling every part of your body aligning, stabilizing, activating. Each of these tiny cues contributes to a safer, more stable, and more energized start to your day. And when done consistently, this single habit has the power to reshape not only your posture, but your confidence, your mental alertness, and your connection to the world around you. Never underestimate the influence of your day's first movements. They don't just shape how you look, they shape how you age. How you move, breathe, and think for the rest of the day. Posture is a gift you give your future self, an invisible yet powerful shield against decline, disconnection, and dependence. Maybe by now you're thinking, but I've done all these things for years and nothing bad has happened yet. That's a completely natural response. We all feel safer inside our routines. But here's the truth, the human body doesn't warn you until it's already at risk. It works a lot like a bridge. Over time, small cracks begin to form, imperceptible at first. But without inspection, without maintenance, those cracks expand. And one day, without warning, the structure gives way. That's how time works, it's silent, deceptive. It doesn't announce decline with alarms. It lets you believe everything is fine, until it's not. Many of the habits we repeat daily, like getting up too fast, skipping hydration, drinking coffee on an empty stomach, ignoring stiffness, or neglecting posture, may not seem harmful in the moment. But inside, they're quietly eroding your strength, balance, circulation, and responsiveness. And then, suddenly, one day, a fall. A fainting spell. A heart issue. And you wonder where it came from. In Eastern traditions, there's a beautiful saying, what you do today silently builds or destroys your tomorrow. That's not just philosophy, it's biology. Every tiny decision you make in the morning is like planting a seed. And over time, those seeds grow, into strength, or into struggle. Into energy, or exhaustion. Into freedom, or dependence. That's why when we talk about morning habits, we're not talking about small matters. We're talking about your future. Your autonomy. Your right to move, think, and live fully, on your own terms. And the best part? It's never too late. If until today, you've risen too fast, skipped water, relied on coffee before food, or ignored your posture, you're not doomed. In fact, you're in the perfect place. Because now, you have awareness. And that's where true transformation begins. The body is remarkably forgiving. It responds quickly to care. Even tiny changes, when done consistently, can disrupt years of wear and tear. It's like steering a massive ship. Shift your course just a few degrees today, and in a few months or years, you'll arrive at a completely different destination. So before saying, "It won't happen to me," ask yourself a more powerful question: what kind of future do I want to build, starting now? Whether you're 60, 70, 80, or beyond, if you're breathing, you still have time. Time to shift direction. Time to strengthen. Time to write a different ending to your story. Every small act of care you adopt today is an invisible investment in your energy, your clarity, your mobility, and most importantly, your freedom. If you've made it to this point, let me tell you something: you're already different. While others blindly repeat their routines, you've chosen something harder: consciousness. That's the real beginning of health, not just information, but intention. Because in the end, it's not time that determines how we age. It's the choices we make each and every day. Now you understand what seemed minor: rising slowly, drinking water, eating before coffee, stretching your body, aligning your posture, isn't minor at all. These little actions are the quiet foundation that supports your strength, your stability, and your independence. Most people won't realize the value of these things until they're gone. But you don't have to wait for that. You have the power to change direction, right now. Each morning is an invitation. A new opportunity to reconnect with your body, nurture your strength, and protect the life you've built. It doesn't have to be dramatic or perfect, it just needs to begin with respect. Respect for the body that carries you. For the life that pulses inside you. And for the future that still wants to be lived, with joy, with clarity, with freedom. The more you honor these small moments, the more your body will respond, with lightness, with resilience, and with strength. Because aging doesn't mean decline. It can mean wisdom. It can mean power. It can mean peace. If anything we've talked about today resonated with you, even just one sentence, one idea, one moment, know this: it wasn't random. Nothing truly meaningful ever is. The universe has a subtle but powerful way of placing signs along our journey, small nudges, reminders, invitations to shift, to listen, to grow. Perhaps this video was one of those signs for you. A whisper to remind you that your story isn't finished yet. That there are still pages to be written, and that you hold the pen. You have every right to write those pages with intention, strength, and grace. With clarity, not confusion. With care, not neglect. With love, for the body that has carried you, for the mind that still imagines, for the spirit that still seeks meaning and connection. Your body is your first home. It has fought battles for you. It has carried you through every season of your life, through joy, through challenge, through quiet mornings and restless nights. And every act of care, no matter how small, is a way of saying thank you. A way of honoring what you've already been given, and preparing for what's still ahead. So, right now, I invite you, take a small step in this moment. Like this video to affirm what you've just learned. Subscribe to the channel so you'll never miss another opportunity to build a better, stronger life. And most importantly, activate the notification bell so that each week, you're reminded that you are not alone on this path. And in the comments below, write this simple but powerful declaration. I choose to take care of my health every day, starting with the small things. Because this isn't just a comment. It's not just a sentence on a screen. It's a commitment, to yourself, to your future, to the version of you that still believes in strength, in growth, in living with presence and purpose. Let this be the day you no longer wait for something to break before you begin to build. Let this be the beginning of something new.